Hey, and welcome. I am Lorelai of Namasturm Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to go ahead and unroll the mat if you don't have it unrolled already, and let's go ahead and have a seat, and we'll start from a seated position. Take your shoulders and just stack them over your hips. Let your head float up on top of the neck. Close the eyes. Tune into your breath here. I do have a dog that lives below me. It is not my dog. I don't have it, but there is a dog that lives below me, and I think that dog struggles when his owner is out. So I feel bad for the puppy, but you will sometimes hear him barking downstairs. So that's what that is. Just empathy, empathy. So just checking in with yourself here. Slowing down in body, quieting down in mind. Tuning into your breath. You can keep the eyes closed if you like. We're just going to do a simple twist to the right. So take your left hand to your right knee and turn over your right shoulder. And switching sides, right hand to left knee, turn over the left shoulder. Let's move to tabletop. So we're going to start real simple. Some cat-cow stretches to warm up the spine. At this point, you can also start to begin with your ujjayi breathing practice. Inhale, head and tail, lift chest and belly, drop. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tail, drop the head. Inhale, cow pose, shoulder blades come together. Exhale, cat pose, shoulder blades draw apart. Back and forth. Follow the pace of your breath. So if you're working with an ujjayi, you slightly narrow the back of the throat so you can hear the breath as it moves in and out. But you also create a rhythm, and then the rhythm that breath establishes, that's what your body should be following. So there's a continual flow. There's not really a stopping or a holding or a pausing, but rather just a turning around point, where we go from the inhale to the exhale, or from the exhale to the inhale. All right, so after a few rounds of cat-cow, you can keep going if you like, but maybe just give yourself permission to move a little bit more kind of organically through the spine in any way that would feel good to you. So some options would be, instead of just up, down with the spine, go from side to side. So bringing your right ear towards your right hip and then going the other way. That's one way. The other way is to let your elbows bend, let your hips sink back, let your head drop down, just shift around. Keep your hands and knees where they are. So those are kind of the rules of the game, is that we keep our hands and knees planted. But anything else that you're able to move, go ahead and let yourself do it, and see if you can find like really weird and awkward positions or arrangements of your limbs and joints that your body would not naturally get into, so that you're kind of checking in with all angles of the body, all potential, ways to stretch around in the different joints that we're working with here. Don't hurt yourself, of course. If something feels painful, back off. Like if you find a spot in your shoulder where it's like, ooh, that's not good, ease up on stuff like that, but just see what you can find in here. And then after a little bit of that, maybe walk the hands a little forward. We're going to go to downward facing dog. And we're going to do a similar thing here. So the basic working out in down dog that we tend to do is bend one knee, let the opposite leg straighten and hold so we can stretch out the legs. And then switch sides. But you may want to work a little differently here. So like we did when our hands and knees are on the floor, maybe move your shoulders, maybe bend into the knees or shift the hips or shift through the torso. So let yourself just find the stretch that feels right to you at the moment. Explore. I'm an actor, and I don't know, I'm assuming maybe some of you who are watching this out there are as well. But like, you know, I've been in many a creative movement class where sort of the goal is to let your body take strange shapes and be creative and move in directions that you've never done before and just explore and check things out. And that may feel weird to those of you who haven't been in that position before, in which case there are some simple, straightforward things you can do. You can pedal through the feet. You can just, you know, shift, pivot on the heels. So if you want to keep it simple, you can. But if you're feeling just a little more experimental today, give yourself permission to go a different way. All right, and then we'll let that go. We'll get back to yoga, which is much more structured. Let's take the right leg up, keep the hips square, toes flexed down, root into the hands, and elongate. So hands press forward and down, heel lifts up and back, and then look forward, step that foot forward. Let's come all the way to a high lunge. So with the right knee stacked directly above the ankle, float on up. Lunge deep into the front knee, but try to straighten out your back leg. This is Crescent Pose, and it is a bit of a balance pose. We're on the ball of the back foot, but the heel is not down. Then from here, plant the left palm right inside the right foot. Take the right arm up for an easy twist. Stack the shoulders. Right knee remains over the ankle. Maybe look up towards your lifted thumb. Turn to the floor, plant your palms, shoulders over wrists, step to plank. So yeah, you'll notice that the alignment of most of the yoga poses, it's very specific, very structured, very concrete. So sometimes when we do stuff that's a little more fluid, it feels foreign to yoga. But you know, we're working with our body, so that's kind of the goal. Maybe lower the knees, we're gonna lower to the floor. Bend the elbows, come all the way down with the heart between the hands. And then Cobra pose, maybe just a baby Cobra at first. If you're ready to push up a little higher, come to a full Cobra, shoulders back, heart forward, glutes nice and soft, legs just extend behind you. This is a back bend, so the shoulders should be behind the chest. If your shoulders are ahead of the chest, see if you can adjust. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips. Down dog. We'll do the down dog split on the other side. So left leg up, toes flex down, root into the hands. So this can actually make a huge difference as opposed to just kind of hanging out and you're sort of in a diagonal. Engage with the pose. So root down, lengthen the torso, relax the neck, but then let the heel reach up and away as if it's trying to like get away from the hands. Look forward, step forward. High lunge crescent pose, side two. Do make sure you've got a vertical shin here. And ideally, we're working towards getting the thigh parallel to the floor. I know that's not for everyone. Not everyone's there at this point. But do what you can. You have a direction to go in, even if you have not actually reached that point. And then the right hand's going to come to the floor inside the left foot, meaning we want them lined up, but it's not right next to it. It's like just maybe, you know, a smidge away. Take the left arm up, twist open, stack the shoulders. Reach through the back heel. All of this is like preliminary. We're warming up. We're checking in with our body. We're seeing how things feel in different directions, from different angles, getting different points of view. Hands to the floor, step back to plank. Plank is a strengthening, stabilizing pose, right? So you might feel this in the wrists. If so, try to distribute the weight through your entire hand, even to the pads of the fingers, so that it doesn't like feel like you're just stabbing straight down. with the base of your palm. Now as you lower, bend the elbows. Keep the elbows over the wrists. Don't let them wing out to the side. You can take knees down first, lower to the floor, and then keep the elbows by the sides, hands about next to the chest, push up Cobra Pose. If you want to go to up dog, you kind of slide forward a little bit so you're on the tops of your feet. Now notice if the heels tend to lift up off the floor and like you've kind of got a gap under your ankles. See if you can really relax the ankles so that your feet are extended, so it's like the toes are pointed behind you. And then roll over them. Now the ankles will lift. Roll over the toes. Move the heart back. You're back in down dog. Root into the hands. Lengthen the torso. Breathe. And I know most of you have been practicing yoga for some time. I know I do not need to give lots of detailed alignment instruction, but I just like to give some reminders at the top so that we're actually focusing on our bodies as opposed to just going through the motions mindlessly. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to walk or step, or you can hop forward if you want. Feet about hip distance. Let's hang with the upper body, sway, dangle. If you want to grab the elbows, you can. Maybe loosen up the back of the neck a bit here. Release the upper body. If your hamstrings are tight, you'll need to bend the knees more here to actually allow the body to release from tail to head. So as opposed to thinking, well, I need to stretch my hamstrings because they're tight, so I'm going to straighten up my legs. Do the opposite. Bend the knees more. This isn't really for the legs, this stretch. Yes, you'll feel it in the legs, but thinking more about letting the upper body go here. Now, release your elbows. Bend the knees even more than you already were. Roll up to standing. So the tailbone tucks, and then your spine stacks one vertebra at a time. The arms are still dangling. Eventually, you get to your chest. The shoulders fall into place. Head comes up last. Roll the shoulders back and down. Walk the feet together, big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. Tadasana traditionally, shoulders back, arms by the sides with the palms facing forward. So just take this for a moment. Press the feet down and notice if you tend to lean forward or back or more to one foot or like to the outer edges of the feet, and try to really center yourself in the feet. Press down, but let the toes be light. Did you lock your knees? Soften those knees, lift up with the quads, navel in, a little bit of a tuck in the tail. And then again, the shoulders are soft, the head just floats up on top of the neck. Find your Ujjayi breath here. Then on an inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And we're going to move into our first Sun A. So inhale, once again, reach the arms up, look up maybe. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, take a half lift. So Ardha Uttanasana is a flat back pose. Head reaches away from tail. Keep the neck long. As you exhale, bend the knees, step to plank, and lower to the floor. And maybe the knees come down first, otherwise chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra Pose, or as I showed before, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and breathe. Sun A's are very symmetrical, so we're not really working left or right. If you are stepping back and forward, you may start to notice for yourself, do you always do that with one leg? Can you switch it up? Can you alternate so that one leg doesn't become the dominant leg moving forward or backward? Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Now, if you're taking both feet together, of course, it stays symmetrical. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Root down to rise up. Inhale. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's keep flowing. Follow the pace of your own breath here. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, high to low plank. Maybe you're working with chaturanga and up dog, or you can stay with knees to the floor in cobra. Exhale, down dog, and this time just one inhale in down dog. Exhale, step walk or lightly hop forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, palms together. Let's keep it going. Inhale. Again, you may not be at the same pace as me, so follow your own pace, but try to stay in rhythm with yourself. High to low plank, and I'm going to actually stop cueing just to give you an opportunity to really listen to your own breath and inner awareness. Alright, so let's continue on to the next time we reach down dog. And once you've gotten there, just let yourself hold. We're going to add on to our practice in a moment. Keep rooting into the hands, lengthening as you inhale. Maybe a slight deepening as you exhale, but the neck is relaxed the whole time. All right, let's take the right leg up off the ground, open the hip and bend the knee. So a nice little variation of down dog split where we twist the hips open, but check that that's not throwing the shoulders out of alignment. The shoulders should remain level if possible up in the front of your mat. Knee to chest. Now move your shoulders forward over the wrist, tuck that knee tight into the body. Breathe. Inhale, lift the leg for down dog split again. Exhale, step the right foot forward. We're going to take a low lunge. Lower your back knee down, extend the back toes. Come on up with the upper body, sink the hips forward. And then once the hips have moved forward and you're in your lunge with the low body, take the arms up, and then we're going to do a little side stretch. So grab the left wrist with the right hand and pull yourself over to the right. You could also bend the elbow and grab your elbow if you prefer, but we're doing just a little side stretch on the left as we lunge into the right leg. And then fingertips to the floor ahead of the foot. We're going to go to standing split. Tuck your back toes under so you can just sort of hop that back foot into the air and float it up. Fold your torso toward the right leg. Maybe right hand behind the right ankle or heel to pull your torso in closer. And then feet together, reach the arms out and up. Palms together in front of the heart. Let's take another vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And here it comes. If you don't want to take the vinyasa portion, you can just go straight to down dog. You'll see me modifying a lot of my vinyasas because my shoulders are not happy with a ton of repetitive vinyasas. But do what makes sense for you tonight. Let's take the left leg up, open the hip and bend the top knee, knee to the sky, heel to the hips, shoulders stay level. Keep the neck relaxed as well. So I know sometimes people start to get into the down dog splits and they start to lift the head. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person. It's fine, but you don't need to, so continue to relax the neck if you can. And then bring the knee to the chest. Move your shoulders forward over the wrists. Sometimes things like relaxing the neck will also help take tension, added tension out of the shoulders. So it's good to relax what you don't need to work in a pose. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Right knee comes down. Extend those back toes. Low lunge again. So The left knee is over the ankle. As we lunge forward, the knee is going to start to come, maybe a tinge forward of the ankle, but it's never going to go beyond the toes. If your heel is tucked way back in towards your body and your knee is way past your toes, see if you can adjust your foot position. Arms up, reach for the right wrist with the left hand and pull over to the left side. Side stretching. Okay, fingertips to the floor, floating to standing splits on the left leg, right leg up, fold in. Maybe hand behind ankle or heel. All right, feet together, rise up. Palms together in front of the heart. Let's go ahead and step out wide. We're going to take Tadasana here. So parallel your feet, hands to your waist, and we're going to lengthen the torso as we come about halfway down. And then once we get to about the halfway point, hands can come and line up between the feet. Lean in, lean forward, let your head hang. Lift your quads, open the backs of the legs. All right, and then hands back to the waist, float back up. Let's turn the right toes open. We're gonna go to warrior two. So pivot so the front heel lines up with the back arch. Slightly turn your left toes in, arms out. Try not to let the left hip drop in, so the hips should stay across from each other. The shoulders stay over the hips as you bend the right knee directly toward the right toes. Sides of the body are still upright, arms stay at shoulder height, and then just turn your head, look over your front fingertips. Nice lunge here. Root into the outer edge of the back foot. So notice if you tend, I think a lot of people do, to roll your arch down and then the outer edge of the foot starts to lift. Instead, press into the outer edge of the foot. The arch shouldn't be touching the ground. Turn the front palm up, reverse warrior for a couple good breaths here. And then cartwheel the hands to the floor, moving through a vinyasa here. Let's head back to down dog. And breathe. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Half lift. Exhale, fold Utkatasana. Inhale, chair pose. Let's take Utkatasana. So knees over toes, navel in, tail down, arms alongside the ears. Sink the hips low. You're a bit of a zigzag here, but we don't want the extreme hips back, heart down, because that's going to just create a back bend. Back bend's not bad, but that's not this pose. Weight is on your heels. And then straighten the legs, come on up. Let's step out wide. We're going to take another variation of our Tadasana. So this time go ahead and let the hands come behind the back, interlace fingers, shoulder blades together. Now, if you can get your hands together, but it's making your elbows bend and shoving your shoulders forward, grab something between those hands so that the shoulders can move back and the arms can straighten for this pose. And then lead with the chest, fold down. Maybe let the arms come up and away from your hips, but that's going to depend on your shoulder sockets. They don't have to move far to get a stretch. For those of you who are more open in the shoulders, those arms can actually fall all the way behind you perhaps, but keep the shoulder blades on your back here. Lean forward, lift the quads, open the backs of the legs. All right, root down with the feet, rise back up to standing, and let's take warrior two on the other side. So pivot the left heel, front heel back arch, arms out, hips stay level, bend the knee right towards those left toes, warrior two, shoulders stay over hips. And so then just the head looks forward. So I know a lot of times people tend to Lunge forward with the upper body. It really is just the head. The shoulders stay stacked above the hips. And this pose is much more balanced that way. If we were to let the left fingers win, then this back arm is kind of like, well, I'm just going along for the ride. We stay level. Back arm reaches back too. And then we're going to reverse warrior. So now we're going to stretch back. And the way we balance kind of this pose, like not like balance like we're going to fall over balance, but balance like some of this, some of that. We're reaching back, but we're continuing to lunge forward with that front knee. And then hands to the floor. Let's take a vinyasa. Head back to down dog. And inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet forward. Half lift. Fold. Chair pose. Utkatasana. Now, from here, from chair, we're going to straighten up our legs, but we're going to pull the left knee into the chest. So actually, don't straighten your left knee. Just pull it up. Stand on the right leg. Find your balance here. And then arms up. Reach the leg out in front of you. If you've got a counter, you can just rest your heel, I guess, right? So that's easy. But that's not the case for most of us, right? So just extend through the heel as if it's growing out from the leg is growing out from your navel. And then we're going to go to warrior 3. So let that leg just move behind you, level out with the floor. Again, I've got this counter. I guess I could just rest my arms there, right? But it's in my way, really. So I'm going to bring palms together in front of the heart. Reach through the head, reach through the heel. Bend the front knee. Let's step back long for warrior 1. So now the back heel does go down. So the toes in the back have to be turned slightly out. The right foot should be slightly to the right of the center line of your mat. Left foot slightly to the left of the center line of the mat. Hips are squared forward. Reach those arms up. Again, rooting into the outer edge of the back foot so that you're not rolling your weight to the arch of the back foot, but continuing to move the left hip forward and the right hip back. Maybe palms together and look up, lunge deeper. And hands to the floor, vinyasa. Down dog is your resting pose, but we won't be here long. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Half lift. Fold. Chair, Utkatasana. Standing on the left leg, pull the right knee in, straighten your standing leg, find your balance, steady your gaze at a single point. Sorry, reach the arms up, extend the leg out. Warrior 3, leg below you. Try to make your body into a capital T shape, reaching forward with the head, maybe the hands, reaching back with that back heel. Palms can be together in front of the heart if that's a little easier. And then bend the front knee. So if you can bend your front knee, it's going to be way easier to get that left foot or that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. And then make your adjustments. Feet, knees, hips, shoulders, arms, warrior 1. Maybe palms come together and look up, but make sure you're still lunging forward as you do that. And hands to the floor, vinyasa. You can skip the vinyasa if you'd rather. You could just go straight back to down dog. So just a reminder, vinyasas are optional. Take a breath, maybe 2 in down dog, and then we're going to flow into some sort of dancing sun bees. And we're going to add in a warrior 2. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet forward. Half lift and fold. And here we're going to start to flow with the breath. So inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold down, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg up into the air. Exhale, step it forward between the hands. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Adjust your back foot. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low plank. Keep flowing. Inhale, back bend. Don't pause here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. One inhale. Exhale, step or hop forward. Half lift and fold. We're gonna add on like one new pose each time here. Inhale, chair. We're gonna do a couple more rounds. Utkatasana. Keep following the breath. Half lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Back bend. Downward dog. Right leg up, inhale. Exhale it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse, and we're going to take extended side, and we're just going to hold for maybe just like 3 breaths here so we can keep the flow going after a moment. And then inhale, reverse again. Exhale, hands to the floor, vinyasa, and we're going to keep flowing into the other side. Again, we'll hold our extended side for just a couple breaths just because it's new, but not long. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. And then on an inhale, reverse, warrior. Exhale, flow through vinyasa. Take an inhale and down dog. Exhale, step walk or hop forward. Half lift and fold. Chair pose. Again, just adding on a little bit more. This time we're going to add half moon. So continue to follow your breath through vinyasa. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. And then left hand to hip. Reach the right fingers forward, float up off of the left leg, keeping the body open for half moon. Maybe the left arm goes up into the air. When you're ready to step back, bend that front knee. Inhale, reverse the warrior, and hands to the floor, vinyasa. We'll take the other side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring it forward. Warrior one to warrior two. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Half moon pose and hold. And bend the front knee, step back on an exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Maybe knees to the floor. Back bend. And down dog. One inhale. Exhale, step walk or hop forward. Half lift. Fold. Chair pose. We're going to go again. We'll add on just a little differently this time. Forward fold. Make your way through vinyasa, heading back to down dog. We're going to go into a little bit more of a triangle sequence this time. So instead of extended side angle and half moon, that's where we'll go. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Now inhale, reverse, but go ahead and straighten the front leg so you can exhale to triangle, Trikonasana. Okay, now from here, inhale, stretch back. We're gonna exhale into Revolve Triangle, but we're gonna need to move the feet a little bit. So step the left foot forward, left hand comes down, right arm goes up, hold Revolve Triangle. Back heel should be down, and if you can, step the left foot a little to the left. It's gonna help level out the hips a bit. Reach the head forward away from the tail. So we're not folding towards our front leg, we're extending our torso out. From here, revolve half moon. So left fingers come forward, float the left foot up. Keep your twist. We're going to add on just a little bit more here. So go ahead and bend that front knee. Step back really long with the left foot. Slide the left hand inside the right foot. Let's go to side plank. So this right arm might not be knowing what it's doing, but we're going to try to keep that right arm up. Roll to the edge of the back foot and step the right foot back for side plank. Lift the hips, maybe lift the gaze and look up. And turn to the floor. Take a vinyasa. Once we get to down dog, we're going to flow right into our second side. So this is, really we're flowing a lot here. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse, straighten out the front leg. Exhale into triangle. And we'll hold this for, 3 or 4 breaths. We're going to come on up and stretch back. And then to get to Revolve Triangle, it's actually the right hand that's going to come down, but we're going to also need to step the right foot in a little bit, and then the left arm, it may not feel like it's the smoothest arc there, but the left arm's going to come up. Notice if your hips are really shifted wonky, the idea is to have them mostly level. They don't have to be perfect, but we really kind of want to find the stretch in the outer left leg. And if we really shift our left hip way out of the way, it's going to avoid the stretch that the pose is actually targeting. Now, right fingers forward, revolve half moon. Bend the left knee, step the right foot back, plant the right hand, keep the left arm up, roll to the edge of the right foot, step the left foot back, side plank. Turn to the floor. Hey, vinyasa time. You can skip it. You can modify it, but keep it if you want. And hold down dog. We're going to rest for a moment in down dog, but if you need to bring these to the floor and take a child's pose, of course, it's always there for you. When you're ready, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. And then let's turn the toes out, take the feet a little wide. And I'm actually going to move a little back on my mat. You can if you want to. We're going to sit down for Malasana, a nice squat. If your heels are on the floor, hooray. If they can't come to the floor, that's okay. You just may have to do a little bit more balance here. Take the arms inside the shins. So as opposed to just thinking elbows inside knees, which is okay, see if you can go a little deeper. Upper arms inside shins, and then press the palms. Now, move the heart forward by pushing the arms against the shins and moving the legs back. Heart comes forward. So it almost feels like a little back bend is happening here. Crow pose, Bakasana. So really getting the upper arms under the shins is gonna help you so much with this pose. Take the hands to the floor and I always feel like it starts kind of like you're making a diamond with the hands and the elbows are going a little wide. But ultimately we don't want the hands turning way in. So kind of find your placement. Mine probably are turning not directly forward. They are turned a little bit in. So if that's helpful for you, have them maybe, so almost like you're making a little triangle with your first fingers, but they're spread apart further than that. Okay, lean in. The shins are gonna just float, rest on the upper arms. And then if you have a hard time getting the feet off the floor, this is a trick I saw on, I think, Instagram. Think about just like pointing your toes, point, and then put the toes back down. And then the other set of toes, just point that foot so that set of toes kind of flicks up off the floor. And then eventually, you start to get used to taking your weight off of your feet completely and the hands just take it. Push down, lift up, straighten the arms, try to look up. So find ways to deepen this pose if you're up and holding it as opposed to just, yes, if it's the first time you've gotten up, yes, please celebrate. Just be happy to have gotten off the floor. But there is more room to grow after just getting into the pose has been accomplished, right? Let's take another one. So if you tried one, try another one, and then maybe just try not to think about this one so much, but try to let your body figure it out, because your body can solve a lot of problems that your brain can't if you shut your mind off and just kind of give in to, what you're feeling in the moment, knowing what the goal is, and then just breathe wherever you are. Okay, and come down when you need to. Let's come all the way to our sit bones. We're going to take a boat pose, Navasana. Hands behind the thighs, let the shins rise. Reach the arms, lift the heart, extend the legs. This is also a balance. So we've balanced on one foot, we've balanced on our hands. Now we're just balancing on our sit bones, right? It should be easier, but we try to make it hard for ourselves, so we have to work a little bit. Feet to the floor. Tuck your shoulders underneath you, hands plant, reverse table. Press down to lift up. Get the hips as high as the knees, chin in or head back. Breathe. And then sit bones back to the floor. Let's float into another boat pose. Reach the arms. All right, this is something I've been doing with people a little bit lately. See if you can. You might need to bend your knees to get this started. Reach your left hand for the outer right foot and then straighten the foot. Now the left leg's gonna straighten as well and you're gonna still balance, but that leg's probably not gonna be quite as high. Take your right arm back. See if you can find a balancing, twisting pose here. And if the legs don't wanna do it for you, just practice. So play with it. See where you're at tonight. And then bring the knees back in and switch sides. Grab the outer left foot with the right hand and straighten. Take the arms out. Keep lifting the heart. Okay. Feet to the floor, rock to the feet. Let's take Hastasana. So we're going to slide the hands under our feet with our toes all the way to our wrists. Wiggle the toes into the wrists, let the head hang down. Lift your shoulders. Okay, once you've had a little time in Hastasana, so maybe the knees are really bent, maybe you're straightening the backs of the legs, but kind of the goal here is to massage the wrists after we've spent so much time on them through vinyasas and then of course balancing in crow pose. But let's go ahead and take the hands out from underneath the feet, but we're gonna try to do what we just did in boat pose from standing. We're gonna take the left hand to the outer right foot. Some of you may need to bend this right knee in transition here, but maybe not. Come on up with the right leg with you, and you're twisting. Take the right hand behind you. Dancing Shiva. Now, if your front knee is bent, it's okay, but the aim is to start to straighten it up by pushing the ball of the foot into that front hand. Maybe turn your head and look back. Find your balance here. And then we're just going to actually let the foot go and go into a standing split. So let the leg move up and back. Let the hands come to the floor. Fold down deep. And then we're gonna cross the right leg behind the left one. Step onto the right foot. So it may not be that your toes are perfectly lined up, but we wanna make sure both heels are down. And then bend the left knee a little bit, but try to straighten the right leg and see if you can find a little stretch for that outer edge of the leg. Okay, uncross the leg, place the feet together again. Can we do the other side? I'm just gonna turn around so I can keep facing you when I come up in my twist, assuming I don't fall, which could happen. All right, grabbing the outer left foot, right hand can come to your hip or it can be up or wherever it needs to be, right, as you first come up. Standing on the right foot, try to float the leg up. And look, if you cannot get to this pose that way, don't worry, come to it another way. So you could just come to standing and then try to grab the outer foot, or you can even just be holding onto your knee here with the knee completely bent. Push the foot or maybe knee into that right hand and then turn, maybe look back to your left thumb as you twist. All right, standing split, let go of the foot. See if you can do this gracefully. So it's not just like falling to the ground, but it's floating, lifting the left leg up, fold to the right. And then we're gonna cross the left leg behind the right one. Make sure both heels are on the floor. So if you're off your heel and your heels are lifting, you're not gonna get the same thing. So even if that foot's like further back, it's okay. The front knee can be bent, but the back leg should be more or less straight. Okay, uncross the legs. Let's bend the knees, bring them to the floor. Bring the forearms to the floor. We're going to take Dolphin Pose here. So we're going to work in the direction of a little bit of an inversion practice. I know not everyone wants to go upside down in a balancing inversion, but Dolphin is a way to practice without actually having to balance, because the feet are going to stay on the floor for the most part. Elbows under shoulders, press down. Move the heart back, the head hangs, the head's not touching the floor here. Maybe walk the toes a little bit closer if you can. This is a good stretch for the shoulders, so you might choose to just stay put with both feet on the ground, making sure you're rooting down with the hands so that the head can hang free without resting on the floor. If you want to, maybe take the right leg up, so reach those toes into the air. And then finally, if you want to add on from here, you can bend the left knee and just spring off those left toes just a little bit, so you're only getting a couple of inches off the floor, but that top leg is staying straight and trying to get vertical. Switch sides, right foot down, left leg up, and you can just work with this leg lift, push down with the forearms, lift up with the left leg. Or if you want to add in the little hops, do the same thing that you did on the first side. Nice and soft, land really softly. It's important if you're practicing inversions that you get good at landing, because you will need to come down from each and every one of them. Knees to the floor, hips to the heels, flip your palms, and then bend your elbows, hands to the shoulders. Okay. So either another Dolphin Pose, we just practiced. There are options, keeping feet on the floor, lifting the legs, taking little hops, or if you're feeling headstandy tonight, this is the time. Please be safe. If you need to move to a wall, move to a wall. Please do not jump or hop into a headstand. I know it's harder when you don't have the momentum or someone there to help you, but practice lifting your legs even if you can only get one off the floor at a time, just to build that core strength and build that stability, because we really want to be secure and stable, and sometimes hopping can kind of push us off our stability. When we don't have our head on the floor, it's not a big deal because our neck is not so vulnerable. It's just our arms or our hands. But with our head on the floor, if we were to kind of throw ourselves in a weird direction, our head is stuck to the floor, and so our neck could get jarred in a weird way. I explained that a million times, and I think everyone knows that, but just a reminder, there is a reason why. It's not just arbitrary or like me trying to hold you back. It really is just me trying to help you be as safe as you can. If you're coming to headstand, head is nestled up by your hands, and you can take both feet off the floor at a time, or you can do like we did in Dolphin. One leg goes up, and maybe you just bring this leg back down real slow and practice lifting the other leg. But if that leg goes up and the other leg sort of almost naturally starts to float off the floor and you're in balance, you can bring the legs up together. And I know that that's not probably going to be your very first experience of headstand, but you'll get there. Just keep practicing. Practice does not necessarily mean you accomplish the pose each time you try it. Practice means you work in the direction of, and gradually your body starts to be able to handle it better. So it really is just a matter of doing it over and over again until all of a sudden usually it feels like you get into headstand all of a sudden, but it's never really what's happening in your body. Your body's building it little by little, but the moment of actually being able to get into it sort of has to happen all at one time. I've talked so much in this practice. I apologize for those of you who like minimal cues. You can go to my YouTube page. I have a ton of minimal cues practices there where I shut up a lot more. When you're ready to come down, you can take, again, one leg down at a time or both together. Try to come down with control, though, as opposed to just sort of saying, okay, gravity, do it for me. Try to be in control of your descent. And then we can stack fists, take the forehead to the fists, and just hold here for a moment. All right, so we're going to take a camel pose here. Sometimes it feels like the most natural progression from being on our knees if we're going to go into a back bend after an inversion. Let's tuck the toes on this first one here. So the shins are basically level with the floor, although with the toes tucked, it elevates the heels, so they're not really level completely. But what we do want to make sure is that the thighs are perpendicular to the floor. So those stay vertical. So we don't want to start to lean the hips back just in order to grab the heels, because like this isn't a back bend at all. This is something else, right? So we want to keep the hips over the knees and then use the hands on the waist to keep the tailbone tucked. The heart opens and lifts. We stretch the front of the body, and then maybe the hands can come back to the heels. Chin in, or you could let the head drop back. If that feels okay with the neck, the head should be completely resting. So the weight of the head completely lets go. It kind of rests on those tucked shoulder blades. Now to come up, support your waist with your hands. If your head is back, it's going to come up last. So bring your body up and then let your head rise on top of the neck. And then you can extend the feet, drop your hips back to your heels, sit back. I like to stretch the tops of my feet by leaning back and lifting up the knees. If that's accessible to you, you can. You can also stretch the bottoms of your feet by keeping the toes tucked and just sitting on your heels. Come on up. Let's take the second one. And this time I'm going to extend my shins. If you want to keep the toes tucked, you can. If you're keeping your hands on the waist, maybe give extending the shins a try, since you're not going to be worrying about reaching for the heels anyway. And sometimes I personally feel like it's a little easier to kind of root down. We need to root down to rise up. Like we need to have something to anchor us so that we can move away. If we were just like working without any gravity here or without any floor, it would be very hard for us to actually take this pose because there's nothing to push against. We need leverage to come from somewhere. All right, when you're ready to come out of your pose, support your waist. Come on up. And we're gonna take a twist, so go ahead and drop your left hip to the floor. Twists after back bends are great for neutralizing the spine, and they're great between back bends and forward folds because they kind of get us back to center. Forward folds are obviously the counter pose to back bends. I say obviously, maybe it's not obvious, but it makes sense, right? So step the left foot. Right knee. Right foot is stepped outside the left knee. Right knee is up. So let's use the left hand or arm and twist to the right. And then we're going to switch sides, switch legs. Now that I mentioned that thing with Camel about needing gravity, I'm like, what would yoga look like in space? Would we be able to do anything? And I kind of feel like you would think you would be freer and you would be able to like move your limbs more easily without gravity, but I don't know that we'd be able to get the leverage to get into any of our stretches. Couldn't really do standing poses. Like, I don't know that you could do yoga in space. Leave me a comment if you have strong thoughts about whether or not yoga in space would be a good idea. Okay, let's come out of our twist. And we're gonna take Badakanasana here. So bring the feet together, let the knees go wide. Maybe draw your hips to your heels, or you can bring your heels back towards your hips, whatever makes most sense. And then we're just gonna lean forward. You can use the elbows to gently press the knees away, but then use your knees to gently press up against the elbows. All right, now before we go into like a final forward fold, we're gonna take Gomukasana tonight, which is gonna be a little bit for our hips and a little bit for our arms. So we're gonna keep the right foot tucked in and the right knee is gonna point forward. Now, we're gonna use our hands to help, I would recommend. Pick up your left leg and try to stack your left knee right above the right knee, and then just let the edge of the foot come to the floor. So unlike before when we had the sole of the foot on the floor, now we've just kind of got the edge of the foot on the floor. The knees are stacked, so kind of come to a point. And then we're gonna take our left arm up, bend the elbow, reach with the hand for the elbow and pull that elbow towards the head. For those of you who have more open shoulders, right arm out, rotate so the palm is back, bring the arm, slide it behind your back, bend the elbow so that the forearm rises up your back and try to link your fingers behind you. Left elbow still points up. Now from here, if you want to, you can start to fold forward a little bit, a lot, whatever makes most sense for you. If you decide that you'd rather focus on getting a deeper fold, but the arms are getting in your way, you could release the arms and take hands on the ground. Maybe let your head hang. So we're getting a little bit into our hips here, but you'll also obviously feel this stretch in the upper arm, in the upper body, the shoulders, the arms. Okay, come on up carefully, gently, and we're just gonna switch sides. So left leg under, right leg over. Again, the knees stack, the edges of the feet are on the floor. Right arm up, bend the elbow, grab it, or left arm comes behind the back to clasp. And we'll hold for a few breaths. This is Gomukasana, which means cow face pose. I don't know why. All right, Come out easily, let go of hands, uncross legs, and let's take both legs straight out in front of us. So however you want to situate yourself on your mat. Maybe give them a little rock and roll from side to side or a bounce of the knees, whatever feels good. Flex the feet, engage the quads, strengthen the torso, hands by the sides. Dandasana staff pose is really the preparatory pose for Paschimottanasana. And we do want to keep what's going on with the legs as we go to our forward fold. Let's now inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then again, like I said, keeping the legs toned, but the upper body doesn't have to remain stiff and rigid. Really just allow it to drape down. The hands can come to the floor. I recommend that. If they easily and naturally reach the feet, you can allow your hands to hold the feet, but don't strain for them. It's not like a yoga win, just grabbing the feet. It's a convenience if you can. But don't worry if you can't. The point is to fold and to stretch the legs, not to strain the arms and catch the feet. Two more breaths if you can. And slowly walk the hands in to come back up. All right, let's go ahead and cross the legs so we can complete our shared practice. I do encourage you to take some time in Shavasana, corpse pose, after this class has ended. It really is the end of your practice to take corpse pose, so although I will not be joining you for 5 minutes of stillness, it's important for you to really kind of bookend your practice in that way. So I encourage it. I can't enforce it, but I encourage it. Let's go ahead, inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Close the eyes. Tune into your breath. Notice yourself again here at the end of your practice. You can compare it to the beginning if you want to, but you don't need to, right? That's in the past. This is now. Check in with what's now. And let's end with a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are tonight. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing this practice. Namaste. All right, thank you so much. If you like the practice, give it a thumbs up so that I know you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those for me. And I hope you'll join me next time, next week, or take another class of mine someplace else in all of the places that I mentioned. Have a good rest of your week, and that's it for now. Bye-bye.